And welcome back to Truth Hurts, where we expose corrupt politicians and lying corporate media. We're broadcasting live today from Roseville, Minnesota, in the Valley of the Beast, the heart of the protesters that really, I don't think they care about the issue. They just want to disrupt things, and we're going to get into that story today. What we're really going to be talking about right off the bat is Tom Emmer, who's possibly the next Speaker of the House. Join me as usual, Mr. Mega Jesse. How you doing there, buddy?
Yep, I'm doing good, and yeah, this is one of those stories that's lying right at our doorsteps. I can't believe that the Republicans are choosing Tom Emmer, Rhino Tom Emmer, and especially here in Minnesota, we need to expose him. A lot of people have been doing it for years, so happy to be here.
Well, we're going to talk about the good and the bad of Tom Emmer. There is some good side to it, so we'll get into that. It's so good to have you back, Mr. Straight Lace himself. Some call him the blonde Matt Walsh. The Matt Blonde Walsh. I don't know where I was going with that one. The blonde Matt Walsh. How you doing there, William?
Very good. Very good to be back for a rare appearance.
Rare appearance?
We'll see how rare it is.
2 weeks in a row. I don't know. Not that much. Reading your comments at home is Bridget. How you doing, Bridget?
Doing great. And Tucker has, we're going to be talking about Tom Never, which I like.
Tom Never. That's good. She's going to be reading your comments. If you want to for sure have your comment read, go ahead and hit that Rumble rant. That lets us know that we have got to interrupt our program to let you, whatever thoughts come across your head, we're going to read them straight here live. Rumble Rats keep this program fueled. Also, please hit that like button. I was almost going to go a YouTube route there. Mm-hmm. Hit that like button and make sure that you like the show. That tells everyone else out there there's good content on the show. Running the dials as usual is Mr. Dawson. We call him Deep State Dawson here. Look at that. There's less and less of a shirt every time.
That's the plan, yeah. I want to outgrow my shirts, every single one.
You know, guys my age outgrow their shirts for other reasons. Shut up, Brad Ganser. All right, so here we go. Tom Emmer. Who is Tom Emmer? We know him, right? There's a story of this guy. He's been in Minnesota politics a long time. You guys know he was in the House?
Mm-hmm.
The
State House.
State House, yeah. So that's kind of where he got his legs. You know, I think there was a story I was reading the other day about how he was upset running the family business in Edina and ended up getting some $30,000 levy against him, or not a levy, but probably some kind of fine or something like that. And basically that's what catapulted him into politics. So he becomes a state representative. By the way, Delano, Minnesota. So if you don't know the Twin Cities area, it's west of the Twin Cities, west of Minneapolis, and a very solid conservative area. Wright County, right? Very solid conservative. He basically runs for governor. Let's pull up this article. Go to actionforliberty.com. We have the story, the good and the bad of Speaker Tom Emmer, who, by the way, breaking news, just won the nomination in the GOP conference. Is that right, William?
That's correct, but as of now, he doesn't have the votes to become speaker unless he works with Democrats.
Well, explain to people what that means here.
So the GOP did kind of a testing the waters moment when they did a roll call vote behind closed doors. Now, this is from Twitter, or X as it's now called, so take it with a grain of salt. But supposedly 25 Republicans voted for someone else other than Emmer, and most of those Republicans voted for Jim Jordan. So,
do we have the names of those people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alan Banks.
And this is according to who on Twitter? We're just going to call it Twitter today.
Liz Elkind.
Is that like a blue check mark?
She's not a blue check mark, but she works for Fox.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, Allen, Banks, Biggs, Brashim, Cloud, Clyde, Collins, Crane, Davidson, Good, Gosar, Green, Harshbarger.
So no Gates.
Jackson, Massey, Mary Miller, Max Miller, Corey Mills, Nels, Norman, Ogles, Perry, Roy, Self, and Stubbe. So notably, no Rosendale and no Gates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. No Rosendale and Ken Buck, who actually voted for Emmer, but because he hates Emmer. Was that?
Well, yeah.
He says that was a joke, but I don't even understand the joke.
Well, you know, that's the thing. I watched him say that in that interview, and then that was the CNN interview, and then he went on NBC with that black lady who did the debates. I can't think of her name, but she hosted the last debate against Biden and Trump. But when Ken Buck went on there, he was talking Emmer up. So it sounded like two different congressmen doing these interviews. So I'm not exactly sure what Ken Buck is.
Well, he said the joke fell flat, which, for a stuffy politician, I'm sure his jokes would fall flat.
I mean, these guys. We got some. We got a lot of comments here.
Yeah,
Let's go to
Tucker,
those.
really quick, says Gates, he heard Gates voted for Emmer.
Yeah. That's what
Um,
it seems
Yep.
like. It seems like some of these MAGA people are falling in line behind Emmer, and it's really weird to see Gates is staying silent. And if Rosendale is doing the same thing, it is not a good sign of things to come.
Yeah. So F. Sass, I guess that's how you say that, says, what do you want to know about Tom Emmer? He took $150K from Target Corporation when he first ran for governor against Mark Dayton, and he also took around the same amount of money from Best Buy.
Well, let's get into that. I don't know what that means. Donors or workers of Target Corporation. You can't take actual real donations from a corporation.
Well, don't they have a PAC? Because I thought they've given money to other candidates in the past. Or maybe not a PAC, but like some sort of independent
An independent
expenditure.
expenditure committee.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Emmer did. That was just getting back from overseas when Emmer was running, so I wasn't that intimate to the campaign, although I knew some of the people. So let's go here. Go back to actionforliberty.com. You can go to actionforliberty.com, read the story. So Emmer basically started as a I think the thing that propelled him to big prominence in Minnesota is he ran for governor, as alluded here. 2010. He came within 9,000 votes, I think it was 8,000 and change, of beating Mark Dayton, which was huge. And that was the Tea Party surge year. So that's actually what started the GOP on its bankruptcy footprint. Like they basically spent all this money on a recall effort and all that kind of stuff and trying to get Emmer. Emmer did not win in the recall battle. By the way, recalls really don't change much in politics. It's because it's
Wait,
like
you're
they're just-
saying that Emmer was running on a recall?
No. I'm sorry. Did I say recall?
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Recount.
Recount. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I woke up. I got a little head cold from my kids,
Yeah.
and so this isn't working as well as it usually does.
What, your face?
But
His face. Ah.
I know. As soon as I said that, I'm like, just toss that one up there. My God. I could just hear the comments. Does it ever work? Jeez. By the way, you know, a liberal rag Minnesota reformer had to watch our program.
Mm-hmm.
They had
It
to
was a
slog
slog,
through it. Yeah. We'll get to that story. That's really funny. I love it. Okay, so Emmer ends up running for governor in the recount, loses the recount. It's like 8,000 to 9,000 votes. Not a lot of votes. That's, what is that, a 0.4% margin? It was very close race, okay? And basically, since then, the Republican Party's been just pitiful. Can't win crap. So Emmer then parlays that run and that popularity to a job in talk radio, and I think everyone loved him back then, right? Like, he was really good. Tom Emmer was great on radio. And that's probably around the first time I really got to know Tom. Tom I probably met just a little bit at the end of the campaign, but I wasn't that involved. But as a radio show host, very beloved by people. He's a very skilled politician. You got to understand that. And very likable, as most politicians are. The best politicians are very likable because they're winning popularity contests, right? It's simple as that. So then he takes the opportunity when Michelle Bachmann says she's not running again, and he runs for Congressional District 6. Now, if you understand Minnesota, let's see, Congressional District 8 makes a lot of sense, 7 makes a lot of sense, 1 makes a lot of sense, 4 and 5 makes sense, 3 is kind of like gerrymandering, and 6 is a joke. 6 is so crazy. I should have had this ready to go so people could see Congressional District 6. But when I remember prior to the 2012 redistricting, Woodbury, I lived in Woodbury at the time, that was part of CD6, and it went all the way to St. Cloud. So basically, you're hugging around the Twin Cities, and then you head up northwest. And then you cover around the western part of the cities where Delano is. Now it's moved up to Hugo or whatever it is. I think not even Hugo.
Hugo's CD8. I
Yeah,
think.
CD8 now. But essentially, it's still a little different. It just we lost. CD6 no longer encompasses our area. In fact, Michelle Bachmann got districted out of her district because she lives outside, not that far from where I live, Lake Elmo, Stillwater area.
Mm.
Is
Right?
that why she didn't run again?
No, because you can live outside the district. But
Well, you can.
in fact, her district office at one point wasn't even in the district because
Oh.
it got
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. You sign a lease, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so Emmer runs for that seat and instantly becomes adversarial to the grassroots. We had Tom Emmer come speak to a lot of our events, right? People got to know him. People liked him. My cohort, Jack Rogers, was big Tom Emmer guy, right? And he goes back to Washington, D.C., or goes to Washington, D.C., first time elected. And the first vote he takes, John Boehner for Speaker.
Yeah.
And I remember we called him on it. We this is betrayal. You talk all this stuff about fixing Washington, D.C., and you vote for that guy. Because at that point, everyone knew John Boehner was scrappy. John Boehner was just allowing the Obama agenda to go forward. And so we had kind of an adversarial relationship once Tom Emmer went up to Washington, at least from the start. We haven't really interacted too much with Tom Emmer. I remember it was an event, and he had a selfie stick. He was going around with a selfie stick, and he got a picture with me. I was like, all right, what the hell? Let's get one with Tom Emmer.
Yeah.
Access. Okay, that's a lot of bad talk on it. Let me give you one of the good things. I see there's a comment. What about his scorecard? So we'll talk about that too. The good part about Tom Emmer running, and I can't stress this enough, and I'm kind of polling for Tom Emmer to be Speaker of the House, because Tom Emmer gives Minnesota that much more influence in global politics. Certainly national politics, but I would argue global politics, right? Because in the end of the day, listen, these politicians, they don't listen to you and me. They don't. It's the global elites that run the show, right? The politicians are just little pawns. They're not pawns in the game. They're chess pieces. We're the pawns in the game, right? The global elite do not care about us. You've seen this right on the stage with Israel and Palestine and Ukraine and Russia and the inflation we're seeing. They do not give a crap about you and me. The politicians answer to them. But in the end of the day, we still have power because we vote. And in Minnesota, and we were talking about this right before the show. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Davis and Emmer was the name of the show. Yeah, I totally forgot about Bob Davis. And Bob Davis was good. Then he went kind of like way conspiracy. Is that guy even around anymore? I haven't heard about Bob Davis in a long time. That's right, Bob Davis and Tom Emmer.
Tucker says, with the state of Minnesota right now, is that a good thing, Jake? For us to have more influence, I guess?
You and me, I'm going to say that. Okay, fair point, right? Fair point. But, for us that live in Minnesota, it's good to have more influence, right? I don't think there's been a speaker who's faced a caucus system. Like in Minnesota, any one of you guys can go to your caucus, let's just say in this case the Republican Party, on, what is that, February 27th, something like that, of 2024. You can go to caucus and become a delegate. And then that group of delegates in Congressional District 6 decide who they want to endorse for Congress. And so you have the power, and you and a lot of other conservatives, if Tom Emmer wins the speakership and just allows the Biden agenda to go forward and breaks all the promises to conservatives, you guys have the power to say we're not going to endorse Tom Emmer. And that's the hugest blow. And I don't know any other dynamic in recent history where a speaker is facing that. So that's the good of a speaker, Tom Emmer. Now let's get back to the bad of Tom Emmer. You talk about voting record. What do we got for voting record? We've got the debt ceiling increase, the continuing resolution compromise, and plus all the budgets under Trump, which were terrible and grew government. You got voting for what's the same-sex marriage. Go back to that article here. I've got the list here. And you could probably look up congressional scorecards as well.
Vote,
that's not just same-sex marriage. That's to codify same-sex marriage in anticipation of the Supreme Court.
That's right.
Getting
Yes,
rid of
exactly.
It, which, is never going to happen. But
and then, as you alluded to, and I got into this part of the article a little sooner. Tom Emmer, and a lot of you guys probably know this. Maybe some of you don't. He was actually paid as a spokesman for National Popular Vote by a leftist group. Okay, which says to me one of two things. Either at the time, and this is like 2011-12 era, I guess they put 2010. I probably have that wrong. It's probably just after 2010. Tom Emmer either believed in National Popular Vote, which seems crazy. I can't imagine he did, right? But maybe believed in it, which would really give Democrats a leg up in presidential elections. They're already winning the popular votes, right? Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, right? So it's not good. And then the Democrats would change their strategy and it'd be even worse. Or he doesn't have any core principles, and so he's basically a sellout to the highest bidder. So let's play this video here in the article, Dawson. I got the YouTube link here. Just a little taste of Tom Emmer pimping out National Popular Vote.
Well, Tom, I really thank you for coming and being part of our process here in Pennsylvania. We're looking forward to having some hearings and get this momentum going. We're doing a lot of dialogue with emails back and forth, getting the message out. So it's an interesting journey that we're on. And do you have anything more to add or finish with?
No, I wish you a lot of luck. I just hope that your colleagues, conservatives, Republicans in general, I hope they will study the issue. Don't let emotion in the belief that just because this is the way it's been done, this is the right way. Open your mind up and look at the Constitution. If you believe in the Constitution, if you believe in states' rights, I believe that ultimately you will come to the point where you'll start looking at it from the perspective that this is exactly what the founders intended. They wanted to give the states the opportunity to change this and do it the way they think it's supposed to be, so it works for a fair outcome for all. And then the other thing is tell your colleagues, be careful, because Donovan McNabb is going to have a
All right,
renaissance.
stop it
in
there.
this.
Yeah, there's a politician with a joke. And I chose that segment because I think that's interesting. His job, getting paid for that, is not to just promote it to the general electorate. It's to go to the Republicans. Now, I know this group. They hire lobbyists. And I actually debated one. The guy was a quote-unquote Republican and debated him on a show back in the day on national popular vote. Me obviously taking the stance of it's a very bad thing for us, right? It's a bad thing in case you don't know the issue, because the concentration of our population are in big cities where Republican votes are few and far between. And so the Democrats just change their strategy and bring out the vote in those metro areas.
Becky Hack has a comment she throws in.
Sure.
She says, popular vote doesn't matter. The people don't elect the president.
I mean, in the end of the day,
Well, nowadays, the Electoral College, I mean, it wasn't this way until recently, but the Electoral College now is forced to, let's say for Minnesota, the 10 electoral votes are going to go to the winner. You used to be able to, let's say I was an elector for Trump and Trump won, and then I wanted to vote for Ron Paul instead. That used to be allowed. Now the Supreme Court says that you can't have faithless electors. So, basically, the system that we have already allows for the person who wins the majority of a state to get the electoral vote. So it's ridiculous that they want to do that on the national level, because we already have a popular vote system, just state by state.
Yeah, I think what Becky might not understand here is that Tom Emmer is advocating for a policy change here, and that he wants to essentially eliminate the Electoral College or go around the Electoral College. So, yeah, the popular vote doesn't matter right now, but Tom Emmer was advocating to change that.
I don't know what she's trying to say, actually. I thought she might be saying we don't elect the president, the ruling elite do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And there's a lot of truth to that, right? One last thing on Emmer here in terms of the bad column. Think about his jobs. Okay, since he's been D.C., right? He's the majority whip. That's the third in charge right now. So you're the majority whip. It means you literally have to whip votes for the establishment. That's your job. Can you be principled as a majority whip? I don't think you can.
No way.
Right? So you're basically making deals to get bad, shitty votes out there. So it's not like he only votes.
Unless you have great bills coming up on the floor and you're trying to whip the votes for really incredible things that are going to, cut the size of government. Unless you're doing that, which is not what Tom Emmer was doing. Then, being the majority whip means that you have to be a rhino, try to force people to vote for things that are not conservative.
Right. And so it's like the debt ceiling increase, terrible vote to take. He's the one whipping the votes. He's the one going over there and getting people to vote for it. Think about this. He also ran the NRCC. Now, let's go back to Action for Liberty. It's the third paragraph to the bottom. A lot of people know him as the guy protecting the rhinos, the establishment, for primary challengers. And so you can see there's a hyperlink here. He even cautioned Trump in 2021 of supporting primary challengers of Republicans who voted to impeach him. So Emmer there, and this is a political, cautioning Trump when Trump obviously wants to correct the problems in Congress, the people that impeached him. And Emmer's the one protecting them, as the job is of the NRCC, the National Republican Congressional Committee. Or is that,
Conference
Committee. No, what is it?
I think it's conference.
I think it's committee. I can fact check.
No, it's definitely committee. It's basically their political wing, their a PAC, right?
Right. Yeah, and that wasn't the only one where example of that, because Liz Cheney, for example, Laura Loomer was calling out Tom Emmer for this very thing one time. She was at one of these big donor events. She was calling him out. She was asking him, why is Liz Cheney not on the list of rhinos that we need to target to get out? And, Tom Emmer was saying, we're not targeting incumbents. We're not doing the primaries. But, of course, The NRCC was buying all these cans. There's an example in Wisconsin. His name is slipping my mind right now, but you can see that Tom Emmer totally bought this guy out, and this guy is, doing whatever
This is
he's
Van
told.
Orden?
Yeah. Derek Van Orden. You can totally see that, because Tom Emmer was giving him all this money, Van Orden was promising, I'm going to be a conservative fighter when he gets in there. And then it didn't happen. Why? Because he was backing Tom Emmer. He was one of Tom Emmer's biggest allies when he was trying to be the majority whip. So when we see Van Orden and all these others being bought out by the NRCC, it just shows how much money plays a role in politics.
We have a Rumble rant from K-Wall for Life. It says, what are your thoughts on Senator Klobuchar pressuring Amazon to stop Alexa from using Rumble, Substack as sources of information?
I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know about that.
Well,
either.
you have to stop that. There's so much fake news on Rumble, right? Jeez.
So I just, when the comment came up, I looked into it. Yeah, it's real. And Klobuchar on October 19th released a statement. As we approach 2024 elections, we write to express serious concern about recent reporting that Amazon Alexa, a virtual voice assistant tool relied upon by millions of Americans, is repeating false claims about the outcome of the 2020 elections and to request information about your
ridiculous.
efforts to combat this troubling content. It doesn't seem like they reference... Now, maybe it's in a different part of the statement. I'm just reading about this from a news outlet, but it doesn't seem like they cite Rumble specifically, but I'm sure they're definitely talking about Rumble and Truth Hurts, of course.
Perhaps she should stay in her lane, right? What does the government have to do with that? Shut up, politician.
That's true.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. You probably shouldn't have an Alexa in your house anyway. You don't want
Yeah.
Amazon, and you don't want a spy device tracking your every single word.
I
You
got one of
probably
those-
shouldn't have one.
What is the Google one? I got one
Google
of those.
Home.
It's Google
Yeah.
Home.
Yeah.
I've
I got
both
I got
couple
one of
of
those for
those.
Christmas. It's still in the box 4 years
Oh,
later.
really?
I'll
Yeah.
take
I like
it.
mine.
Do you? You want
Yeah.
it?
No, I'll
Oh.
take it.
Sure, no.
Oh.
I had dibs on it.
It's I
Hi.
literally I like run.
I don't
half of
want
those
it.
things.
Should I do a push-up contest? Who gets it? You guys are so principled.
Yes.
Here. Yo, put the
Oh,
listening device.
Yes.
By the way,
Well, here's the
it's not
thing.
lost on me. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
That is
they
a
already
listening
hear
device.
everything
I
we're
know.
saying.
That's true.
Carla Nelson says Alex Jones had it on his show that Alexa said there would be no 2024 election.
Alexa might be right
so
on that.
weird.
I remember seeing that too. I mean, that kind of stuff is out there where, it's not going to be planned. All kinds of crazy stuff going on. So,
Guys,
Yeah, I
like
don't know.
seriously, that is a possibility. We have to understand that, right? Like they're literally trying to throw Trump in prison. Yeah, Tucker says Roseanne Barr is predicting that too. I saw that. I
yeah,
watched that. Like literally, we might be in World War III, and you can't have an election unless Ukraine pays for it, right?
yeah, right.
See what I did there?
There you go.
So,
There you go.
which would really still be our money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that a money laundering scheme over there?
Yeah.
Let's since we're talking about Amy Klobuchar, let's talk about Dean Phillips. This is some other breaking news, I guess. If you can go pull this up, Dawson, on actionforliberty.com. We've got someone spotting. Apparently, Darren, what's his name? Rusha or something like
Rosha,
that?
something like that.
No, Rosha is a different guy. He's a
Ru-
Republican.
Which one is this?
This is the Dean Phillips bus. Let's go to actionforliberty.com. By the way, before I forget, here, pull up actionforliberty.com real quick.
Yeah.
I want to see you at their Christmas event on December 7th, Thursday, December 7th, at the Mermaid in Mounds View. It's a good time. I'm telling you this. You can win guns. Like, the more people that sign up, the more guns we give away. So you got a great job, or a great chance of winning. You get to see Bridget, Straight Laced William, Mega Jesse, myself. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come? Plus, you can win an AR-15.
Is that the
non-Biden approved.
non-Biden approved AR-15?
That is a non-Biden approved
Does that
AR-15.
come with a certificate of authenticity? That's not Biden approved?
Sure, I'll put one on there. No problem. And we might give away 2 AR-15s depending on how many people come. So there you go. Go to actionforliberty.com and sign up there. Now go to that spot at Dean Phillips' presidential bus on the road. Tell us about this here, William.
Yeah, sorry, it was Jason DeRusha. He's
Jason,
with
there you
WCCO. Anyway, he I don't know how he got access to this. I doubt that he's actually in Ohio. But someone in Ohio spotted the Dean Phillips for President bus that's just on the road before he's even announced that he's running for president. Now, the rumor says that he's announcing his campaign on October 27th. But up until now, that's just a rumor. Now, we have pictures and video of the bus. So if you scroll down, you'll see the tweet. If you want to play the video for us.
I think K1 and T-War are coming to the Christmas party.
Did they just sign up?
Not yet, but they.
Well, sign up.
One
Before it
is
sells
restricting
out.
the other.
So if you look at the side there, you can see the slogan is "Make America Affordable Again," which is hilarious for two reasons. One, the acronym says "meh," which is the sound that a baby makes, which is exactly what Dean Phillips is. Two, that's referring to the out of control inflation, which Dean Phillips is partially responsible for because he keeps voting for these big government programs, voting for more spending that drives more money in the market, thus driving up prices.
Like, do people understand that at this point? Like, he understands there's a problem right now. You can't afford to live. Listen, I got a family of 5. I would say 3. It's like I have 3 children. Family of 5. I am still included, so is my wife. It's so crazy, the expenses. We were up for MEA. That's why Mark Bashowski was hosting last week.
He just posted. He said, Jake, I'm just here to monitor your free speech. Be careful and remember to change your show name to The Truth Doesn't Matter.
Ouch.
So Mark can't come into the show today, but he can comment?
Apparently.
That's bullshit. Jeez. He's never invited on the show again. So, MEA, we're going to, we stopped by KFC. When was the last time you guys went to KFC?
I can't
Gosh,
remember.
I don't know.
Like the $20 bucket of chicken, that is not a thing anymore. Not even close. It's insane. I could not believe the prices of
Wait, how much was the bucket of chicken?
like $42.
You're
you know?
kidding.
No, I am not kidding. I
Jeez.
am not kidding. It is crazy. I mean, I'm telling you guys something you know. So here's Dean Phillips. Yes, he's recognizing the problem that he created. See, this is the thing. These guys aren't really calling the shots, okay? These guys are just tools for whatever the global elites, the bankers that run the whole show, right? Like, look at this. This is why my viewpoints nowadays, conservative, libertarian, whatever the hell you want to call me, that's like how I navigate the world of terminology when it comes to, I guess, ideology, maybe. Maybe that's the way I look at it, but here's really where I'm at. I'm just pro people. I'm for the regular guy. I am so sick of these people screwing us over. And the politicians, a lot of them aren't smart enough. They're just like tools of the ruling elite. Like, clearly someone's running the show in the White House right now, and it's not Joe Biden, right? So these guys are doing the bidding of the Federal Reserve and the big banks. And they just print money to oblivion. There's no fiscal conservatism. Let's get back to this. The speaker debate, right? You and I were talking about before we went on air. This is a good thing. Everyone's acting like this is a bad thing. The Democrats are like, oh, Republicans can't get things straight. And Republicans are like, oh, my God, all this infighting. We're not unified. It's 20 days. And meanwhile, it's like this whole system is dysfunctional. And so if it's dysfunctional, why do we want to get back to normal so quickly? The Democrat solution, all 212 vote lockstep for Hakeem Jeffries. There's no change. Well, there may be some change, and it's far worse, right? And the Republican establishment, no change. The system's broke, so it's actually good that we're having this stuff. And it could have happened a long time ago, but they want to just, lay the red carpet out for Kevin McCarthy, and so this didn't happen two months prior to them taking office. Sorry,
right.
I cut you off there.
If Emmer becomes the speaker out of this whole thing, that this whole opportunity was wasted. This whole thing was for nothing. It would mean that Matt Gaetz kind of let us down. It would mean that the whole thing was just a show. Because Emmer is worse than McCarthy. McCarthy is better than Emmer. And, Emmer, he is such a tool. He is such a liar. He was out there saying, making it seem as if Trump was supporting him for speaker. That wasn't the case at all. Trump was, Emmer was not endorsed by Trump, and Emmer has never endorsed Trump either. Emmer's not behind Trump for 2024. Why would Trump ever be behind Emmer for speaker in that situation? Doesn't make any sense.
Clip.
You get a fine?
Well, it's a clip of Trump talking nice about Emmer the day he filed in the New Hampshire primary. A reporter asked him.
I saw the version that you wanted to send out to everybody because,
What version? It's the video.
No, you didn't send the full video. You didn't send the full thing because Trump goes on further and he says the only person who could win the votes in the for speaker, the only person who could get all the votes is Jesus Christ. So he was going on saying that, and
how does that make it better?
Well, no, your interpretation of it was basically, Trump is propping
Listen,
up
William
Tom
didn't
Emmer.
share the part where he was being sacrilegious, so I wanted to be sure that was included there.
Come on, no. You were saying that.
And listen, I'm pro-Trump. I love Trump, but he's not God. He's not our savior. We don't need to treat him like that. He's capable of making flaws.
Do you have to like do the Trump
Do the
hand
Trump-
gesture?
Yeah.
Yes,
Say you like
it's
Trump.
so many such cases where I have to do the hand gestures, and you would like the hand gestures too if you were a true patriot, Jake.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm not a true patriot then. huh?
Okay, but here's the thing. You're making it sound like Trump was, propping him up in that whole thing. He didn't endorse him. He said, he's praising me. He said, Tom Emmer called me up. I guess he's my biggest fan. He said that to me. How is that?
That's so
Well,
funny.
see, that's the
nothing
problem.
wrong.
Trump loves when people butter him up, and that's all. That's really all it takes to gain his approval, because
But
he's
he didn't-
endorsed
he didn't
people
get
who've been
his
rhinos in
approval.
Congress.
He didn't get his approval.
You remember when Trump was making calls for Kevin McCarthy way
Yep.
back in January?
And look at what he's doing with Tom Emmer, because he's out there posting videos exposing Tom Emmer for supporting the national popular vote. I mean, what you're trying to propose is like totally fantasy. You're trying to make it sound like Trump is behind Emmer. Trump is not behind Emmer. He got asked by the media, "What do you think about Tom Emmer?" He said, "I spoke with him on the phone. He praised me." And you're right. Trump likes getting his ass kissed. There's nothing wrong with that. And Tom Emmer has to do that in order to have any kind of chance in the world with this whole thing.
So at the very least, Emmer's treating it like an endorsement, because he went on Twitter, retweeted this video, and he's like, "Thank you, Mr. President. I look
Yeah.
forward to being Speaker of the
Sad.
House."
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
sad.
Well,
it's very
sad.
sad.
Right, it's pathetic. because-
But Trump's endorsement's not that great. Jim Jordan was endorsed by Trump, and
Which
he failed.
primary all the people that voted against Jordan. Like, I think that's a great incentive to. You could say this person voted against the Trump endorsed candidate for Speaker.
There you go.
They are the reason that gridlock is
or just Jim
continuing in
Jordan because he's the
Washington.
most popular. We pulled
Yeah.
our people. We did a little flash poll and we got 91% wanted Jordan. Like,
Oh, really?
If you took
Wow.
it, yeah, Emmer was in there. We had one vote for Emmer.
Yeah, and also,
One vote for
Trump has
McCarthy.
been after Emmer for a while. When Emmer was trying to become the majority whip, Trump was behind Jim Banks. Jim Banks is the U.S. Senate candidate in Indiana. So, a lot of the MAGA people were already against Tom Emmer prior to any of this, just when it was a vote for who's going to be the majority whip. And William, you even listed Jim Banks on that list of people who are still willing to oppose McCarthy on the floor. Now, what the next move is, getting back to Dean Phillips, is are there going to be Democrats who are going to, not vote, who are going to vote present on the floor in order for someone like a Tom Emmer to get the necessary votes? Some people are saying Dean Phillips is already suggesting that he might do
I thought he's
something
on a
like
bus
that.
in Ohio right now. What?
Yeah, exactly right. No, and that's the thing. There's Republicans, Democrats, and then Democrats. Which is an Emmer with a D in front. So the Democrats are the ones who are uniparty, going to push Tom Emmer to be the speaker. And if the very first thing that happens with Tom Emmer becoming the speaker is him working with the Democrats just in order to be able to get the votes to become speaker, that means that he's completely toast from the bat. If you have to use Democrat votes in order to become the speaker, you shouldn't become the speaker. The Republicans need to figure this out within their own party. Needs to be all within them. And, Trump has made it 100% clear, maybe not clear enough for William, but he's made it 100% clear he's not behind Tom Emmer. He re-truthed the stuff that Laura Loomer's putting out there. So, I don't know what else Trump can do to make you happy, William. He's doing everything right.
I'm actually kind of happy with him right now. I don't.
It sounds like it.
I'm not. I'm just speaking the truth, and the truth hurts sometimes, Jesse.
Oh,
What
well
was the-
played.
what
so
was-
Dawson, I'm done with this conversation. Jesse or Dawson, do
It's
you
his
want to
show.
go to?
Yeah, it's his show. My
If you go
friend-
to line 8,
Hold on,
I
my 80-year-old friend Kush is texting me.
Kush.
Does Kush? Yeah, I know. Cushman is his actual name. Does Kush not realize you can actually go? Kush, you got to go
Is Kush
on.
watching?
What's that?
Is that person watching?
Yeah, he's
Like-
watching, but he's texting me. Go on the thread, Kush. Kush likes to say he's 20 years old with 60 years of experience.
you talking about on Rumble?
Yeah, I sent him a link.
Oh, okay.
Don't you love it when you get texted like live on the show? It's like, okay, I got a show
Yeah,
to go.
we all
Just
have
a
a
hang.
mutual friend who insists on texting our group chat instead of commenting
Is
on the
Brad?
live stream.
Brad, you talking about?
No, he's
No.
talking to
Tushy?
someone else.
Liberty
Someone else
Longer.
who'd get mad if we mentioned their name on the show.
Liberty?
No.
Oh, T?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yeah.
Would he be really that mad?
Eh,
He'd be mad that
probably.
he might be mad that we know he's watching because he hates the show.
Nobody knows what we're talking about right now.
You
Billy
know who doesn't
22.
hate the show? The Minnesota Reformer. We got to go to that story eventually. All right, what do you got for us here?
Billy22 says, of course the Dems will allow Emmer to take the speakership. After all, they are there are wars to be funded. The spice must flow.
Well, yeah, Billy's kind of got a point, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think the Democrats love the chaos here.
Well, yeah, some of them do, and it's basically just like Dean Phillips that's saying this. I think there's going to be more, but I mean, someone like Ilhan Omar. Do you ever expect Ilhan Omar to, or the AOCs of the world? They're not going to do anything to lift a finger for Emmer. They're going to continue to vote for Hakeem Jeffries or someone else. But yeah, I mean, I think the majority of these Democrats do not want to help any Republican become the speaker.
Well, here's the beauty of it. So the Republicans in the swing districts, they're probably going to be the ones that Hakeem Jeffries will let loose and vote for Emmer. And they can say, look at me being bipartisan. I want Congress to work for people. I bet Angie Craig might be one of those people. It's possible. So if you go back to that tweet, I don't know if you included this in your article, Jake, but Dean Phillips is bragging about, if you scroll up a little bit, you can see the tweet that he's responding to.
What is it?
It's from Edina Indivisible, which is some lefty group.
Huge lefties.
Anyway, Dean Phillips is bragging about how Tom Emmer's one of the speaker candidates who voted to certify the 2020 election.
Yeah, yeah, we put that in our article too about the certification of the election.
So he's like openly campaigning for Emmer. And I guarantee, like, Dean Phillips is a bit of an odd duck in Congress. But
Very odd duck.
He can't be the only one that's thinking this.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, yeah. If we're in a position where the Democrats are starting to agree with who the Republicans nominated, that means that we went in the wrong direction. Matt Gaetz was doing this whole thing because he wanted to push the Republican Party to the right. He wanted to push them to make sure that we have single subject bills, to make sure that, the January 6th stuff was released. Everything that needs to be done isn't going to happen with an establishment good old boy like Tom Emmer. And it's pretty disappointing to see Matt Gaetz falling in line on something like this, because that's at least how it appears so far.
All right, what's this thing about Emmer defending Ilhan? I want to go to the next subject. But
oh, yeah, so that was just a real quick thing I wanted to include in there. Go ahead and pull up that article, Dawson. At one of the Trump rallies, the crowd started chanting, "Send her back," about Ilhan Omar, and that got Tom Emmer's panties in a knot. So Tom Emmer was out there saying that there is no place for "send her back" chants, directed about Ilhan Omar. So it's just one of those interesting things. Why was Tom Emmer playing cover for Ilhan in a situation like that? Why was he trying to tell the MAGA base what we can and cannot say? Why was he trying to defend her in any way? It's one of those things that, and also it's a negative look on Trump. He was trying to get Trump to go against what the crowd was chanting. And so it's just one of those things that it showed that Tom Emmer is kind of a, what's the word, I'll say establishment. The word's not coming to mind, but, he wants things to stay as is. Don't say anything like that about Ilhan Omar. But that's the thing, when people say "send her back," it's not a racist thing. It's because you hate this country. If you hate the country and you're trying to change it, then, that's why people are telling you to go back to where you came from. It's not because of her race.
Well, it's possible she came here illegally, by marrying her brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what some people say. I don't know.
You don't believe that?
That's like one of the more corroborated stories.
Yeah, that seems like
her.
that actually checks out.
Yeah.
You should show me the evidence on it, then.
Oh, yeah, we could show you the evidence.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I'm
there's
not saying now, but I'd like to see what you guys are.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are saying.
I'll send it to you afterwards. So Emmer FTX, what's this one about?
Yeah, so that's just another. Go ahead and pull up that one, Dawson. So there were some Congress members who were trying to stop the SEC's investigation into FTX. Basically, Tom Emmer and all these others, people call Tom Emmer Congressman Crypto because he loves crypto apparently, but he was trying to give some kind of regulatory monopoly into FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. He was getting their campaign money. They were using that campaign money with the HRCC. So rhinos were getting funded over good conservatives by FTX money. And so that just shows that Tom Emmer's priorities are with the donors. He's, that's a big thing with the NRCC. It's just all about getting those rich donors, trying to please the big donors instead of trying to please the grassroots. So that was just another article that people should look into to see that along with the central bank digital currency, which Tom Emmer has fake legislation out there pretending like he's trying to fight against that, when a lot of the people who have really done the details and digging into it know that Tom Emmer is a sellout on that. So it seems as if Tom Emmer is untrustworthy. when it comes to currency. It seems like he wants to push us closer and closer to the globalist elite future of no more paper and coin money.
Yeah, you know, that's what scares me is the no paper, no coin money. It's like it's just going to be tracked. It's the social credit system that we're going to.
Yeah.
And once again, I don't think these guys are the ones calling the shots. I think it's the ruling elite, and these guys are just tools for them, right? Let's
Yep, and then also just the speaker vote too. Let's go ahead and just put that up there.
What's the
just,
speaker vote?
I got it in the document, whatever line it is, Dawson. Yes, that just shows how the votes were going on internally within the GOP caucus.
Oh, this is up on Wikipedia already?
Yeah, this is on Wikipedia. So
Wow.
somebody was tracking it all pretty well. So as you can see, Pete Sessions was eliminated within the first round, and Jack Bergman following after. Austin Scott was the guy who tried to challenge Jim Jordan for the nomination before. After that, Kevin Hearn and Byron Donalds, two people who are considered to be, probably the best candidates who were entered into
You
the
wish you see that
race.
block of votes go together, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if that
exactly.
would've
And
made a
that's the thing.
difference.
They both got eliminated on the same ballot. It's
Right.
almost like it was done by design.
Well, it
by
says
these,
withdrawn, not
rhinos.
eliminated.
What's that?
Says Byron Donalds withdrew. not
Yeah,
eliminated.
I know Donalds withdrew.
Why? Why would you withdraw? You could have got the Kevin Hearn votes, possibly.
I don't know. I just saw that he withdrew.
Yeah, I had seen something about that too. I haven't dug into it yet, but it's very weird that him and Hearn were eliminated on the same ballot at the same time, or if Byron Donalds decided to drop out, I'm not sure why Hearn wouldn't be included on the next ballot after that, but you would think that they could have consolidated their votes together, considering that they're maybe the two most anti-establishment candidates that are in there.
Right.
And then onto the final ballot there with just 53.4% is what Tom Emmer ended up with. So, he barely has a majority within his own GOP caucus. So if there's, 44% of the Republicans within the House that vote against him in that final vote, and then there's an additional 25, 26 who are saying that they won't support him on the floor, I hope that's a signal to these Republicans that Tom Emmer is not going to be the speaker. And unless he has Democrat support to try to pull it off, or unless he can, wheel and deal some of these Republicans and swindle them into voting for him, I don't think he's going to become the speaker.
Okay. Who do you want to be speaker, by the way?
I would, of the options, I'd probably choose Byron Donalds.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure,
Because you can't go back to Jim Jordan, is that the thing? Or you
No,
weren't big on him? Or
I'm okay with Jim Jordan. I don't really care who it is necessarily. It's just as long as they're anti-establishment, they're going to push the right stuff. They're going to get the job done on everything that Matt Gaetz was describing in the very beginning. So
let's go to comments here.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Andy Parrish says Republicans need to stop putting up old white males. Why not rep Kay Granger?
Andy, you're an old white male. What are you talking about?
And Kay Granger was one of the rhinos who voted against Jim Jordan. So definitely not her.
You know what? I'd be okay with that, though. Let's Byron Donalds. He's like a younger black guy.
Right, exactly. It would be the first time in a long time that the Republican Party wouldn't look like a bunch of out-of-touch old white people,
Not that there's anything wrong with old white people, by the way.
Out-of-touch people is what I said.
You want to hear something funny? So Andy used to be Michelle Bachmann's chief of staff. That's who Andy is. And we went to college together. We had
Since she's not a rhino.
Andy doesn't follow politics much these days.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it. Andy and I used to have a radio show on college campus. I've been doing this and pissing off the powers to be for a long time. They actually can't. So Andy ends up, he graduates a semester before me. I take over the show, and I get canceled the second week into it. I've been canceled so much. Like, it goes back to college. All right, let's go to some more comments here.
Brad says fatigue is Emmer's biggest ally. Let's see.
That's true.
That's a really good point, and I hate to credit Brad Ganser for ever having a great point, but I'm going to now. Fair is fair. Brad Ganser, great point.
I think he's probably out of good points.
He's out of good points.
So.
He's been like one for 10.
And let's see. T. Hall says, don't they use phrases like send him home in political ads? Not sure what his issue is as far as Emmer goes. Liberty Loca says, why did Trump call Tom Emmer a winner?
No, I like Liberty Loca's other comment. Why did Trump support McCarthy?
Yeah,
Go
that
explain
too.
that
You
one
never
there,
answered
Mega
that
Jesse.
one when I brought it up.
Okay, because we've been over it a million times. I mean, I don't want to be repetitive on the show of us just talking about the same
By the way,
thing over and over and over
In
again.
response to your comment, you might want to see Donald as speaker. I want to see Donald Trump as speaker. I still think that's something we should be talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're the real conservative here, William. No, I mean I don't want to get into the McCarthy stuff. We've been over it a million
Yeah.
times.
But the audience wants to know. Liberty Local wants to know.
Go on Truth Social. You know.
All right, follow. What is it? Mega Jesse on True Social.
Yep.
What is it?
So Jesse's telling people to educate themselves. Is that what I'm hearing?
You got
The
it.
same thing that the liberals
Well, he's
say about
telling him
gender
to go.
nonsense.
Yeah, just that's fair. All right, we got to talk about this. Let's go to this protest that happened in Minneapolis. What was this, Sunday or Monday? Days just going together.
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. We had MEA plus an extra day because parent-teacher conferences, so it's all blending together for me. MEA, for those people not in Minnesota, there's a teachers conference in October. I'm a big outdoors and big hunter, right? So I love it. Get to take my kids out. We were duck hunting, we were grouse hunting, fishing, called Blast and Cast Weekend, hunting and fishing. And all the teachers gravitate towards St. Paul for a big conference, and about this many go to it. So it's just a built-in vacation, basically, for everyone in the education system.
It's
But I
nice.
love it, as having kids in school. Okay, this is a protest. No, it's October 22nd, says up there. Dawson?
I am wrong.
Truth hurts. Truth hurts.
Truth hurts.
That was great. And we could be wrong on our podcast, right? Even Mark Bashowski can be wrong here and there, right? We'll get into that story after this. I love Mark, by the way. He did a great job hosting. I was trying to watch as much as I could on the right up there. This is a protest gone bad. October 22nd. This is, well, it was posted at 10:12. Obviously happened way before this. This is drone footage. Some of you guys have seen the footage of the guy in the vehicle scared out of his mind when these protesters were basically smashed his window. This basically tells the whole story.
I'll point out that the audio is a pretty crazy mashup of just people screaming and yelling. So
Yeah, I was kind of like, there's no way that drone's picking that
I'll put a
up.
little bit of it in there, but you'll get it.
I see your comment, Andy, and I'm not responding to that.
I'm right here. I know.
Now, this guy eventually speeds up and goes through this crowd here. There you go. Now, this is interesting stuff.
I like the people running after him. Like they're going to catch up.
They are moving pretty fast, though. I mean,
Watch these guys on ATVs speed up. Because that's what you see in Minneapolis all the time, four-wheelers, right?
yeah.
This is right outside the Walker. That's crazy.
Right. There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, and they're barely missing people.
Now to go harass this guy some more.
What are they harassing him for?
This is why we say we're in the belly of the beast. This is like right next to where we're at. I shouldn't say next to us, but not that far from us.
He just tried to drive.
That's,
So,
gosh.
And then don't they show footage on the ground after this, Dawson, or am I forgetting
Forward
that?
a bit.
Yeah, there you go. You got
There's
footage on the ground.
people just kind of
You got to wear masks because, COVID spreads outdoors, right?
hanging out
Oh,
afterwards.
it's always funny. You see those at the protest.
So is this the clip where you see the Hamas flags?
No, but there are images of Hamas flags out there.
Right.
Which, what kind of lunatic would be displaying a Hamas flag in the
Right.
United
And I'm not
States?
endorsing this protest, by the way, but like it's someone's right to protest. Probably not like this because it looks very violent and not peaceful, but carrying a literal terrorist flag out and about. That's insane.
Becky Hack says, "Isn't it great to be a refugee sanctuary state?"
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Jeez.
For real.
You'll make Brad's day if you read that comment.
I know.
there.
I saw it. Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Okay. He says, "I was able to clip Jake saying I made a great point, and it's now my ringtone."
I mean, that's what happens when you make one good point ever. So there you go.
But yeah, I mean, blocking a street like that, it's the worst form of protest in the world. I hate seeing stuff like that, and it's so stupid. Nobody should be, blocking a street, and you're asking for trouble. They're all getting violent on that one old guy. It's an old guy just trying to drive. Who knows where he's trying to get to, but you shouldn't be having, violent protesters trying to stop you. And, they're all beating on his windows. They're all trying to get him, I'd say start running them over. What else do you do in a situation like that when they're threatening your life? I think you got to take them all out. That's what I'd be doing at least. I can't.
Why
blame
did you
them
have to
for-
go there? Jeez, Mega Jesse. I mean,
Well, I'm saying if I'm in a car and there's people who want to kill me, I'm driving over them.
J. Patrick
You know?
Houlihan is going to write about that.
apparently, we're going to get written about again here. And by the
Yeah.
way, I hope you don't do that because this will be used as evidence against you now, right?
Well,
So-
it's. I understand your point. I don't endorse that, but I understand your point.
Glad-
No, I'm saying
it's,
only if I'm
I
feeling
put up the
threatened.
banner that's
Hold
not
on,
endorsed
hold on.
by William.
No, I'm
It's-
saying.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Thank you.
I'm saying only in the situation where your life is threatened should you do something like
Well,
that.
was that guy's life threatened there?
It was getting close. Yeah, you.
But
you,
is it
you
close?
never know. I mean,
Close?
Hard to judge.
hold
Should
on.
he
Anybody
ran him
could have.
over?
Hold on. Anybody could have a gun, and then all of a sudden you're dead. Okay. You start running these. You start running these people over.
Hey, what happened to that guy in Texas that was getting prosecuted? Didn't he get sentenced? The Uber driver, the off-duty soldier. Remember that
Oh
story?
I
yeah,
don't remember
I
that.
think he got sentenced.
Yeah, and Abbott was supposedly going to pardon him. I should follow up on that story because that
Hmm.
is kind of a case what you're talking about. But here it didn't look like he was in imminent danger in terms of his life.
Well,
Who
he
knows
got
what they
out
would've
for
done
a
if-
second, and that's yeah, you are. You never know when you have 1,000 people surrounding you. Anybody could have a gun. Anybody is trying. Everybody's trying to, destroy your car so that you can't leave. And if you can't leave, what are you supposed to do then?
Well, so
You
here's
know?
the thing: it's a lose-lose situation because, like, you let the crowd move in on you, it's a potential that they beat you up and kill you.
Mm-hmm.
If you fight back, or if you try to defend yourself, you become public enemy number one, and
Yeah.
Keith Ellison is prosecuting you.
Yeah.
Right, or
Like,
Moriarty.
You guys see
Right.
Tucker's what was I gonna say? Twitter show on the Derek Chauvin case. And
I've been saying this for
what
a
have you
while
been
now.
saying?
I've been saying that Derek Chauvin was unfairly prosecuted. Not saying that he's innocent at all. And I know you disagree with me, but people are talking about how the autopsy showed they died of a fentanyl overdose.
He
Yeah.
died of both. He died of fentanyl
Well, they're
and
saying
being
that
choked
this
out.
was a lie. That it basically didn't happen.
All right.
Because and also that the cops that were kind of standing by were unfairly prosecuted. Now we know that the prosecutors who were assigned to the case resigned because they didn't want to unfairly prosecute these people.
Yeah, it's an interesting story, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not
All right.
saying Chauvin's innocent, but
Well,
like,
he's definitely guilty of something.
was very-
no doubt about
he
it.
was
Was
very-
he guilty of murder? That's
he was treated very unfairly.
well. If the cause of death was not whatever you would say with in terms of restricted breathing, whatever the official thing was that we were told,
Mhm.
if that wasn't the cause of death, he didn't murder him, right? But he did something. I mean, he certainly shouldn't be in uniform anymore, right?
Right.
Like this guy's an innocent dude.
But his life's ruined.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know. The fact that they're also come after him on federal hate crime charges is just insane. to
His
me.
life is ruined, but also so is the guy who he knelt on for too long.
Say
Okay,
his
but,
name.
like-
Say his name.
I forgot it.
Nope. Say his name.
I forgot it.
Okay.
All I could think
Hand
of
in
is
the air.
Derek
Say his
Chauvin.
name. Say
Okay,
George
but-
Floyd. Don't you dare.
Oh, George.
Say
George
his
Floyd
name.
Was not, I don't think he was. Becky Hack
Remember
says
that?
he wasn't choked to death. I don't think he was either.
But
Remember,
here's
you
the
remember how they would like go around and say his name, right? Like,
Yeah.
you
well, that
had
was
to put your
Royce
hand-
White's campaign manager, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He
Go ahead.
would have
What were you gonna
would have
say,
died
Bridget?
anyway.
He
if
just
that was
says,
Austin's my point.
Mark says, Chauvin was using MRT, which he was trained to use. Too long, yes, but he was trained to use that technique.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
if-
that
if-
was another lie that they said. It wasn't a technique trained.
William, if someone's going to die of cancer, I could shoot them in the head. They're dying anyways. So.
Right, but that wasn't the cause of death.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the autopsy showed. It
Did they-
showed that there are no physical. I forget what it says specifically, but it says there are no physical
I'll
injuries.
have to do some digging on my own.
Okay, you dig. let's get back to this. I think these protesters really don't give a shit about the issue, right?
Well,
No, I
that's
mean,
the
there's some
thing.
that do. I'm just saying.
They're not for peace.
There's some
they're not-
anarchists, right?
Well, that's the thing. If they're saying that we're against Israeli violence, which is what they're claiming they're against, how does violence solve that? It doesn't do anything. And how does blocking off a street in Minneapolis do anything to help Palestinians? It doesn't.
Well, because the Jews own the streets.
I think
that
everybody's
was a
just
joke.
got
That
this
was a
pent-up
joke.
aggression.
That was a joke. Don't you dare cancel us. That
Yeah,
was a
but
joke.
everyone's just
Or
got all
was it?
this
Okay.
pent-up aggression. You see these crazy people. Everybody just wants a purpose for their life. I wish that people could direct their energy into something good instead of just attacking old people in the street like that.
But I think that's what it is. It's just these anarchists. They don't give a shit about any of this stuff, right? Not Michael Malice anarchists, but like the ones that literally just want chaos and disorder, right? That's
Not
what
the
it is.
based
They
anarchists,
don't really
but the
care.
cringe anarchists.
What's that?
Not the based anarchists.
Yeah,
but
not the
cringe
based anarchists. I love that. Is Base Minnesota falling today?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought I saw a
think
comment in there.
made a comment at some
I
point.
love the comment section. It is just
Oh, where is
beautiful.
Based?
Even Andy Parrish writing today. I mean, what are the odds of that?
You could
I also
say it's
saw a
pop
comment
now.
from Dave's Right. Appreciate you watching, Dave.
Who's
Yeah,
that?
A few in there.
He's
Yeah,
someone
who's
from my
Dave's right?
BPOU.
Well, there you go. My BPOU too.
He said, Dave's right, said if you're 18 to 32, boys and girls are going to war.
That's what really gets me. So I'm actually, I haven't found a home. I'd be curious what you guys think about this, but tell me if I'm wrong on it. And this is what got Mark Bashofsky in the hot seat. In fact, its internal Republican Party is like mad at Mark Bashofsky. I'll let him speak for it. But I just don't want people dying here. I think this blanket check to Israel is the dumbest thing possible. My sons, I got 3 sons at home. Now they're ways away from military age, but Colton, it's 9 years away, and I know 20-year wars, right? We know those 20-year wars. So I'm so fearful that this thing's just going to escalate to World War III, and we don't need this crap. And so this blanket check to Israel, as if Israel can't do any wrong, is so wrong. And it's like you can't have a nuanced opinion today. It's like you're praising Israel and just say the Nikki Haley, it's attacking America too, which it's not. It's not attacking America. That's bullshit. So you can't have that opinion. Otherwise, you are anti-Semitic, you hate Israel, and you're pro-Palestinian, which is dumb. Because you know what? You know who also sucks? Hamas. They're awful. And everyone on this earth should condemn what they did, right? Especially these idiots in Minneapolis. But it's like, how about the innocent people on both sides of the aisle, or both sides of it, right? And you can understand the people that are basically in an open-air prison in Palestine or in the Gaza Strip. You can understand their rationale in how they maneuver the world in this thing, and you certainly don't want the kids and the women and the old elderly dying. You take up arms, it's a different story. You can't take up arms. That is a nuanced opinion that it seems like the media doesn't want you to have. And here's another one. I'm going to get on a rant here. The Republican Party put out this just ridiculous email here. I got to read this here, and then we'll talk about Mark Bashofsky.
Wait, Jake, is your rant covered?
My rant's
someone
not
pay for
covered. If
your
you want
rant?
me to
Whoa.
finish this rant, you got to do a realm rant.
Base says, careful, Jake. ADL will come for you.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, they're coming for Bashofsky, right? Apparently the Jewish coalition's upset the GOP because Bashofsky came on a show and he dared talk about this stuff openly. I'm not going to shut up about it, right? Because honest to God, I don't pledge allegiance to Israel. I don't also pledge allegiance to Palestine. In fact, I don't give a shit about Israel. I would burn the American flag if all that flag represented was politicians. See, the flag represents a lot more than politicians to me. It represents liberty and freedom and this great experiment. But if all it did is represent the rulers of America, screw that flag in a heartbeat, right? Because those rulers are corrupt individuals. They're just doing the bidding for the ruling elite. And guess what that's doing? It's sending our blood and our treasure to spill blood overseas. And they don't care about you guys. Do you notice the prices of goods and services going up? Dean Phillips running on Make America More Affordable again. It's because of them. These stupid global banksters robbing us. Did we have a tax increase under Biden? Not technically, but yes, we did. We had a massive tax increase. You know what that is? It's called inflation, right? When your dollar buys less stuff, maybe they didn't actually collect more from the IRS, but they taxed you. It's just getting the price of goods and services going up. So let me go to this image OP. I don't know why I can't find this thing.
Real quick, I
Go
want
ahead.
to comment that Jake was worried about being low energy at the beginning of the show.
Well,
And he's doing very well.
Fires me up. And
Bad Hat Harry. Gave us
Oh,
a
wow.
$50 Rumble rant. Says, last show I can watch for a while, but I'll see you at the Christmas party.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you so much,
yeah,
Bad Head
thank you.
Harry.
We'll miss you,
That
Bad
made
Head
my
Harry.
day right there.
I guess we'll see you in like a month or so, though.
Where is this email? Maybe I just look up Israel. This was like, have you guys noticed that M and GOP just been so off brand lately? They're just trying everything else. Here
So-
you go. M and GOP. Good evening. So this is we support Israel. That's the subject line, but the DFL doesn't. I'm just gonna call bullshit on this article right away. Okay. And is this from David Han? Nope. It's just from the M and GOP. Good evening, Jake. And they got a comic strip, by the way. It's input billions of dollars. It's got Iran inputting billions of dollars from the Obama and Biden, and then it's going to missiles towards Israel. Oh, real clever, guys. Which, by the way, wasn't that proven false, too? The recent attacks on Israel by Hamas have shocked the world. These atrocious acts following the release of $6 billion in frozen assets to Iran by President Biden require immediate attention and action. The MNGOP is, by the way, it requires our immediate attention and action. Guess what the immediate action is? You can go down to the bottom, contribute today. Like www.donatemngop.org/stand with Israel. No, I didn't give them a promotion. No one that watches this show's click on that. Don't worry about it. That's what they say. Like, that's the immediate action. Contribute to the MNGOP. Now, this is what they say. The MNGOP is steadfast supporter of Israel, and we advocate for Israel's right to defend its citizens and land, which I agree with, obviously, if you understand from Israel's perspective. Recognize Israel's profound historical and religious ties to its territory, identify terrorist acts by groups like Hamas and Bearers to Peace, and believe in battling global anti-Jewish sentiment through supporting Israel. Not too controversial in those statements. Unfortunately, DFL cannot say the same thing. That's where you're lying to me. It's a uniparty. They're just as bought and paid for by whatever strange global elites want to support Israel. They are doing the same thing on their side and condemning the radical leftist crazies with the Hamas flag in Minneapolis. What was the Ken Martin, the DFL chair? Who did he get in a little spat with last week about this? Oh, wasn't it Minneapolis DFL chair or something like that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think it might have been some of the city council members who were endorsed by the DSA. If I remember.
DSA, that's it. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. They condemn the DSA's talking points, right? Which I didn't get through too thorough on it, but even the Democrat Party in Minnesota is like, you can't have a nuanced opinion. It's like we have no home. Anything I said, you guys disagree with, and you guys at home, Bridget, anything you disagree with it?
I do want to push back a little bit.
Okay, push back on me here.
Because I think, though I may not agree necessarily with we need to go and fight for Israel, like Israel's the best country in the Middle East, obviously. I disagree with a lot of their actions, and I'm more or less neutral in this conflict. But I don't blame the GOP for taking up this messaging, because if you look at polling, the overwhelming majority of Americans support Israel in this conflict. So it's a smart fundraising tactic.
The overwhelming majority? I don't know about that.
That's what polls have shown. I think it's like
Palestinian
70-some
support
percent.
the Palestinian support has never been higher in this country.
That's true.
But
If
what
you
does
break
that
it down
mean?
by age
What does that
group-
mean?
So if you break it down by age group, it's like 40-60 for Gen Z, like 40% support Palestine, 60% support
Do you know
Israel.
who did this poll?
I mean, they've done multiple polls on this.
Here's
my
the ABC
computer's
News. I'm
about
looking
to
this
die,
up on
so
the
I-
fly here. Because I'd really be interested what the
I mean, the polls showed the same thing at the beginning of the Ukraine war, to be fair, and that like Americans got
around
fatigued by
70%
that,
American
so-
adults said they were following news of the war either very close or something. Okay, that's not what we were looking at.
Mark is in here commenting about it. He said, I love all people. I was only being critical of the Israeli government. I'm critical of my own government. I want peace. And then he goes on to say, Hamas is crazy. They were wrong to kill and attack. I'm so sad for any Israelis that died or were injured. I also cannot stand seeing Palestinian kids killed. God wants us to love, not kill.
And I love what he just said. It's like, it's really the politicians that are the problem. Like, somehow we can't be critical of Israel. We're critical of we started the show being critical of Tom Emmer and being critical of the U.S. Congress, and we're critical of Joe Biden, but we can't be critical of Israeli politicians. What are you talking about?
So Israel's one of those. I will be candid here. This is one.
Well,
of those
okay,
issues.
hold on. Let's do. We got the William Candid segment coming up.
Yes, thank you. You
I
got
love
that
how you
graphic ready
preface
for
these
this
things,
segment.
William.
Yeah.
I miss you so much.
Aw.
You got to be here every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock, right in that seat. By the way, if you like this episode,
Live on
hit
Rumble.
like.
Yeah.
Hit like.
So, and Mark just had a good comment. He said we should support a ceasefire, which I agree. But Israel is one of those weird things where if you dare question it, you become public enemy number one. You get attacked, canceled. Everyone hate. You can hear the thunder.
I can
outside.
literally
Yeah,
hear the thunder. I don't know if
thunder
our
rain.
microphones
Freaking
pick that
awesome.
up.
Um,
Looks like I'm not going to have football.
So that's
practice.
why. That's partially why I'm hesitant, because I am afraid. I'm afraid of because we can be honest and candid about the trans stuff, and I fear no repercussions from that. But the Israel stuff, people get so fired up about it. Like you watch Julia Coleman on Twitter. This is the one issue she gets fired up on. She subtweets and goes after politicians who aren't
What,
condemning
do you just
Hamas
follow her
enough.
Twitter feed?
Well,
I follow everyone's Twitter feed.
No.
I'm just saying that, like, as a Republican.
Norm Coleman's in whatever Jewish coalition of Minnesota or whatever. So,
Yeah. It's just I mean, you guys have noticed this too, right? Like, this is just one of those issues that, and I won't get into the hypothesizing behind that. I'm just gonna say it's very unpopular to come out against it. Not saying that that's a reason to not come out against it or not to be critical of Israel. I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
one of those things that I want to be careful with.
Okay,
Right.
well,
I
says-
think we can
oh,
give
go ahead.
humanitarian aid, but anything beyond that, we don't need to fuel the war.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, that's the thing. Like, Betty McCollum got. I think Ilhan Omar did the same thing. They're both calling for a ceasefire, and that's apparently controversial.
I don't know. I mean,
Ilhan Omar is
Biden says you
anti-Semitic,
can't
I
have a
think, but-
ceasefire. That said, don't talk that way. Go to F-17. I just put it up there, Dawson. I want to show this ABC poll. What were you going to say, Bridget?
I was going to say, K-Wall said, Rush said it best, follow the money.
Yeah.
Follow the money. That's a great point. This is a poll, ABC, and I'm just doing this on the fly here because William brought it up. But scroll down here, probably halfway down the page, you'll see a chart. And it's showing support for Israelis. Is that what it says? Yeah. Gallup poll asking whether American sympathies in the Middle East situation are more with Israelis or Palestinians since 2013. And so you can follow this to keep going down. It's a graph, not a chart, sorry. Right there. And you can see the red is Israelis, so it starts in 2013 at over 60%. Right now it's at February is at 54%.
Well,
And
and
Palestinians were at 31%. I don't know why it shouldn't be it should just be 50-50. And then if you go back up towards the top, this is a paragraph I'm going to read. Many of these pollsters have asked this question before, and they found that pro-Israeli sentiment had spiked amid the conflict. For example, according to Fox News, registered voters went from sympathizing with Israelis over Palestinians by 59% to 24% in May of this year, to sympathizing with them 68% to 18% this month. Which, by the way, yeah, they were brutally attacked, so you do sympathize with that. But it's
Yeah.
just like you also can't ignore the dead, the poor innocent lives in Palestine. And it's like we're not told we can have these nuanced opinions, but I think, and this is why I looked this up, because when you brought this up, I'm not so certain it's really people are against us, what we're saying here.
Well, so
Because that
I
question
think you and
doesn't
I are speaking
necessarily-
the same tune, but we're coming off with different tones. Like, I'm trying to be neutral on this, and maybe it sounds like I'm coming off as more pro-Israel, and you're also trying to be neutral, but you're coming off as more pro-Palestine. When in reality, I think we don't like to see people die.
What about me sounds pro-Palestine, though? That's what I'm
Well,
confused
it's like
on.
words you use, like occupied territory. They're
It
in
is.
an
What
open
else could
air
you look at
prison.
that as? 100% it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take a position there. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Cop out.
It was a cop-out. I'll give you that. I'll let Dawson do the defending there if you
I
want
don't think
to.
Dawson's going to... Can you deny that? That's what's going on?
What are you guys talking about?
Well, like, honestly, like, you have to understand... I think it's good with global politics to put yourself in the place of the people, and then you can understand the rationale here. Like, one of the things that really got me, and maybe why I'm this way right now, is I still remember the war drums after 9/11. We have to go in Iraq, right? Like, that was a joke. It was a lie. It was not a joke. It was a lie. So I remember this stuff. I remember it clearly. And so, nowadays I like to put myself in the perspective. Why did Osama bin Laden attack the United States, right? Why did he do it? And we were just told by the elite and the media it was because they hate our freedom. It doesn't even make sense. But that's what they said. They came over here and attacked us because they hate our freedom. It's like bullshit they did. They came over and attacked us because we're in the Arabian Peninsula. We're in their holy land because of our geopolitics. It's blowback theory, and blowback theory is obviously what's going on. So put yourself in the perspective of these things, and maybe you can understand why people are doing certain things. So
And
it
Osama
seems like
bin
too many
Laden
people
gave
don't
a
want to put
speech.
themselves in the perspective of the Palestinians. If you live in an open-air prison in one of the most densely populated areas, you can understand their perspective. Now, that doesn't mean you take up arms and kill innocent people in Israel, right? But you have to understand that they're not all bad people. Sorry, Jesse, I cut you off.
I lost it.
You lost it? You had it? Oh, shoot. Sorry about that.
I think I just want people to stop dying, and the United States should not be encouraging. Like, Israel is retaliated. Can we get back to it? I know things weren't great where they were before, but I think we should be encouraging some sort of ceasefire if we can. Not that it's really any of
Isn't
our
that funny
damn
that
business,
that's
quite
not
frankly.
a valid
but-
position nowadays? Like, you sound pro-Palestinian.
Or anti-Semitic, as Mark said earlier.
There you go. Or anti-Semitic because you want a ceasefire. How dare you? Don't
Right.
they have a right to defend themselves? Can't they blow up hospitals, William? How dare you call for a ceasefire?
that's supposedly fake news. Supposedly. I
That's
don't know.
that's the thing is we don't know what's real. I just still don't
Right.
believe that 40 beheaded children. I think there's so much fake news. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I don't know.
But there's no doubt there's dead innocent Palestinians today, right?
And Israelis. Like,
And
dead people
Israelis,
on both
yes,
sides.
100%.
It's very
yes,
sad.
100%.
Well, just in the same thing in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. I'm not pro-Russia. I'm not pro-Ukraine. I want people to stop. I'm kind of anti-Ukraine, though, just because of...
Yeah, but we are pro-Ukrainian people. You just have a corrupt,
Right.
shitty government, right?
Yeah.
It's a big money laundering scheme over in Ukraine.
And there are valid questions
And
when it comes
Putin's
to
a
Israel.
terrible guy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But I just don't want to see you. And this is the other fucked up part about it. Sorry for my language. America's foreign policy in Ukraine is prolong the war so more people die, so you starve the beast, which is Russia. Oh, that's a great policy. Sucks to be a Ukrainian.
Yeah.
So we're just not going to have peace for how many
Well,
years?
it's like we didn't learn anything from Afghanistan. Like, prolonging these conflicts doesn't get you anywhere.
Well, I think we did learn stuff. I think when you say that,
we the American people.
yeah, the American people,
Yeah.
because they know what they're doing, right? They know.
Hey, these
the guys calling the
PhDs
shots.
who run the military know better than us.
What's
supposedly.
this thing about Joe Rogan? Tucker?
Tucker says Joe Rogan had a journalist on talking about the perfect storm of events that led up to this attack.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that episode. I want to watch that episode.
I don't know if you guys have talked about this on the show before, but like there are valid questions as to why Israel didn't see the attacks coming, which is a very valid question.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd be very interested because I feel like they did, and they let it happen.
Right. Have you guys brought this up before?
Yes.
Okay, you have. Okay. Yeah, because that's something that I can't get over.
Dawson, I'm emailing you right now. I totally forgot to send this to you before, but I got to read this. Hold on one second. Your former story. This is too funny.
Becky Hack says, who gave the Arabs a warning of what was to come and time to evacuate?
Who did?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, they gave warnings like leave that, the buildings, go to city centers, and then they blew up the city centers, right? Unless that's been turned out to be fake news too. I don't know. I need Lexa to tell me what the truth is. Sorry, I need Klobuchar to tell me what the truth is. That's just that's the way I'm going to sum this up. Is like this is a very complex issue. No one's got the answer. I'm just so freaking sick of these people going, that's anti-Semitic. You must be pro-Palestinian. There's some crazies clearly that you're taking this issue and using it to do their chaos again in the cities. Okay, so I think that should obviously be condemned. But I also think the Republican and Democrat establishment, which basically has no nuanced position here, they're way out of the mainstream here. And I don't know what polls would actually show this, but I don't see anyone like pushing back at us in the comments. Do you, Bridget? Like, I think you guys get it. I think you understand it. What we're saying is not extreme, but you understand this. Probably it. Well, let's go to it. Let's look up the Reformer. This is a liberal rag called the Minnesota Reformer. This is from their this is from the Daily Reformer. I got to pull it up on my computer here.
I actually do
I
think
guess-
I'm being the contrarian today because they are a liberal rag, but they occasionally do some good reporting that like the mainstream media won't touch.
Yeah, they actually talk about a lot of our battles, which is
Right,
good. I like
yeah.
that.
Brad says he disagrees with Jake and Jesse, but does not consider them pro-Palestinian.
Well, see, that's what I said. Brad Genzer had one good point.
Oh, gosh.
That would be two
I
good
suppose
points,
Tucker
right?
and Tucker and Becky Hacker.
Pull this up. This is from the Daily Reformer newsletter. Can you zoom in on that top paragraph?
I'm gonna try, but it's not playing well with me.
It's apparently with some contention inside the Republican ranks because Mark's actually on the state exec council for the Republican Party.
Oh, I forgot about that. I was wondering why they cared about.
Well, they cared, yeah, because how dare we
Yeah.
have Mark say his opinion on something? Image GOP official is pretty sure it's the Jews. Speaking of anti-Semitism, see right there. Speaking of anti-Semitism, that's that. You could just tell the brain cells in these people's heads, right? This is J. Patrick Coolican, who used to write for the Star Tribune. I was reminded recently of a 2022 Q&A with Yair Rosenberg with the depressing title, Why Conspiracy Theorists Always Land on the Jews. Here's Rosenberg. By the way, I think it's pretty obvious why they always land on the Jews, because there's a lot of people in influential positions, Hollywood, Washington, the banks, that are Jewish people. By the way, those people are just as corrupt as the Christian ones that are running the show too, right? The average Jew is probably a decent person who's just trying to make a better living for their family, even though they killed our Lord and Savior. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Shut up. That was a joke. I'm teasing. I honestly, I think.
In here, or is it?
Yeah, no, it's not. I think we need to look past some of these things. And once again, I'm just for the average guy. I don't care if you're Jewish, you're Muslim, you're a Christian. The ruling elites want to divide us as much as possible, and we fall prey into it a lot too, right? I think that's a lot of what's going on with the LGBTQIA plus thing. It's just a division. They want us divided, right? And while we're divided, they fund their wars, they launder their money through these things, and they continue inflating the money supply and robbing us of our wealth. Destroying America, the one bastion of hope. All right, so anyhow, he's saying, in the days following the Hamas attack in Gaza, I slogged through an episode of The Truth Hurts. Do you guys at home feel like you have to slog through these episodes? I feel like
I feel like
it's
this
a good
is
show.
a slog for me.
It's entertaining.
Man, just being here.
Well, you were asking all these questions about when you were gone, so
Yeah, I'm
clearly,
kidding. Yeah.
you don't even slog through the show.
I do occasionally. I tune in. I actually tuned in during
Occasionally.
the school day back when I was. I'm still teaching, by the way, but the hours are different now.
There you go.
I saw Brad Kanzer's comment earlier. I couldn't let that slide.
Yeah. All right. Well, I see lots of his comments. I don't
He
care.
is going on.
Do we have a new comment? Mickey Murray.
Brad?
This is true about the reformer. Are we missing JM
Not
Teddy?
sure.
No joke, Jake. No joke. Oh, I hope. I don't know if he's responding to my joke. Well, actually, it's not a joke, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not. I'm being a little bit of a provocateur, which is what I'm accused of in this article. I slogged through an episode of The Truth Hurts with host Jake Duesenberg, longtime right-wing provocateur and president of Action for Liberty. You can find it on Rumble. Well, thanks for watching the show, even though you had to slog through it. Am I a provocateur? Is that what I am?
I would take that as a compliment.
Would you say, Bridget? Am I
Probably
a provocateur?
somewhat.
A little bit?
At times.
I
Now
did
you're not as troublesome as the Minnesota GOP tries to make you out to be, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
I'm really a unifier as much as I can. Shut up.
A unifier
What?
through
Look at that face he's making.
provoking.
I tried to
Unify. As long as you have common values, I want to unify. That's why
Yeah.
maybe I get this reputation of being a provocateur.
Right. Well, you want to put pressure on the politicians that aren't following through for their constituents, which is a valuable
Yeah,
thing
look
to be doing.
look who my enemies are, right? The people that hate me. It's the politicians and the people cozying up to the politicians.
Mhm.
That's who hates me. The average Joe doesn't hate me. They like me. Or they don't know who the hell I am, okay?
Yep.
And I'd love to get to know you, by the way. And thanks for watching the show. But
And
that's
come to the
it.
Christmas
And so
party.
if that's the people that hate me, I must be doing something right, correct? Right? Okay. Well, at least that's how I put it in my head. Among the guests was Mark Bashosky, who lost a state house seat. Now, see, I love the editorializing here. Oh, he lost a house seat. See, that's a technique that journalists do. Now, we do it too because we like to mimic the tricks of these guys. But it's like, you don't have to say that Mark Bashosky lost a house seat, but you have to make that little slight in there. So who lost a state house seat and now sits on the GOP state exec board for the 4th District. Here's Bashosky, and this is a quote from Bashosky. I don't know what percentage, but a large percentage of federal politicians have dual citizenship with Israel. Now, they look into it. They say this is false. This is a typical conspiracy. You look like you're ready to say something.
I was just going to ask if that was ever verified or if Mark ever verified that.
I don't know. I let my guests talk. Crazy thought for a host, right?
Crazy.
And I probably pushed back on a little bit, but I have no idea. Okay, I know that Jews can come back to Israel. I believe they can gain citizenship.
Yeah, that's why I don't believe it. I think maybe those two things are getting conflated, like the free trip back to Israel.
right.
Although you can only accept that once in your lifetime, right, Dawson?
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're the resident Jew.
I am the resident Jew. That's true. What you're asking about the pilgrimage? You do that once? I mean, probably.
The whatever it's called, where
birthright.
birthright
Birthright
trip. Yeah, is
Yeah,
that
I'm-
only a one-time thing, or is that can you use that in?
I
as
think
many
it's
times?
only a one-time thing. I'm not positive though.
Okay.
You heard that France is like trying to limit how many flights you can take? Do you know about this?
No.
To fight
Out or
global.
in?
What's that?
Out of the country or in the country?
It like within the country and stuff like that, maybe even out. It's
Oh.
crazy. Yeah.
What brought that to your mind?
You were talking about flights.
You had a Jesse
You acted like
moment
I'm out
there.
on the far end on this one. Bishowski, who also has a type of wrong opinions on the pandemic and the vaccines. I didn't click on the link. I should click on the link. That have unnecessarily killed a lot of people, went deeper into anti-Semitic conspiracy nonsense after Duesenberg played a clip of Nikki Haley, who said Palestinians celebrate the massacre of Jewish civilians. Here's Bishowski, quote, "So they were celebrating."
Holy
Wow.
crap!
That was a big...
Did you guys hear? Because this is a soundproof studio supposedly, so the fact that we're hearing
This
that
is a
here-
soundproof studio. That is
Yeah.
a loud bang. if
Well,
we heard
clearly
it
it's
in
not
here.
soundproof.
That
but-
thing's got to be like right above us. That's sweet.
What's a hang? Don't worry about it. That is definitely going to be our shirt, isn't it? It's a hang.
I think we should do it. Yeah.
All right. Here's Bishowski. So they were celebrating. You know what that made me think of? Should I say it? The Israelis that were celebrating when the Twin Towers dropped. End
Oh
quote.
my God.
Now, what? Oh my God, what?
Oh! I thought they were saying never mind. Keep
No,
going.
that's what Bishowski. Now he's
Yeah,
gone
I
down
read
that.
wrong.
He's gone down that lane. It's interesting. I don't know much about it, but Mark and I had a nice conversation. I'm like, I want to see more proof, right? Valid sources on it. Anyhow, who gives a shit? He could be wrong on it. Duesenberg and the other guests on the show are skeptical, and Bishowski responds, "All right, I will send you verifiable evidence of that. You haven't heard of that? Oh, the things people don't hear." He then goes deep. The thing is, did they know it was happening? That's the problem. That's a rabbit hole you can't go down. Duesenberg, to his credit, well, thanks. I'm glad I got your credit. Mocks Bishowski, clearly there's a rabbit hole you can go down. Now, here's what I find funny. He slogged through a very entertaining show. This is what we do on the show. We have fun. We give each other shit, as seen with William and myself. We're trying to find the truth in this thing. No one here knows the truth about everything. All we're looking at is World War III is erupting. It looks like it could be World War III.
Yeah.
And we're trying to navigate these waters. And the mainstream media and this left-wing rag, you have to have an opinion inside here. And if you step outside of here, you're anti-Semitic or you're pro-Hamas. It's like, nope, there's a nuanced opinion here. We can have this conversation. Yeah, Mark might have gone way off the deep end on some of these things, but that's okay. And he might also be right about these things. Who knows? Show me the evidence. Let's look into it. Certainly, we can't just trust everything the media says, right? And we can't trust everything the officials tell us. You guys remember the Hunter Biden laptop story when 51 intelligence officials, like CIA and former CIA directors, said this is Russian disinformation? Actually, they didn't even say that. They were like clever. This smells or reeks of Russian disinformation. They lie all the time. They lie.
true.
We don't even have the right narrative on 9/11. Now, I'm not the kind of guy that goes off to these wild conspiracies on 9/11, but we don't have the full story of 9/11. I think you guys know that they redacted, was it dozen pages of the 9/11 Commission report? It's top secret.
Well, never
we can't
mind
even
the
see it.
billions of dollars that went missing from the Pentagon like 2 days before 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
But hey, it's just a
But the
coincidence.
commission was a fake investigation anyway. So
Correct.
the fact that any truth had to be redacted from there, is surprising. But yeah, I mean the entire investigation was a scam designed to lie to the American people.
Right.
I will say of the
Mark wants
email.
us to. Oh, he might be for somebody else. Play the above video now, please. Easy enough. I don't know if that's for now though. 15-minute video. No,
Oh,
I
he
don't think
put,
so.
It's not the
the
dancing
Col-
Israelis video, is it?
Corbett report.
Oh.
Suspects dancing Israelis.
This is gonna get us taken off of YouTube if we
Yeah,
play
maybe
it. I
don't.
think.
I don't know.
Oh, like we.
I will
care.
say with the quotes in the newsletter, whenever they quote Mark, I imagine like a Alex Jones voice. Like it's just how it's set up.
Yeah, but see, that's the beauty of Mark is he's got his own voice, right?
No, it's great. No, I love Mark. I think he's very entertaining and he's very informative. I love him more for the vaccine stuff, but
Well, it
James
seems like there's a
Corbett
butt in there
has-
somewhere.
Corbett has some views on Israel and Jews, so I don't know about that one.
Who does?
James Corbett. Corbett.
Oh, is that who Mark recently interviewed in here?
Yeah, that's the video.
Okay, I haven't watched
I
that.
think-
Sorry, Mark, I
I
haven't
think
watched
he's
that
gonna
yet.
have him on again too, as far as I know.
Oh, that'd be great.
All right, let's go to comment section, and then we'll finish off this show because this was entertaining. And you're right,
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't going to make it through the show.
You've done a good
Somehow
job.
I slogged through it.
You slogged through it.
Some people heard our thunder apparently.
Yeah, apparently
the-
that was just
The
like
show.
audible, which is crazy because these mics are super good and this room is really well padded. So I don't know how that got through.
Yeah. Let's see. A lot of back and forth. Zetatron says the truth is we live in a greed-based system ruled by power-hungry, corrupt criminals.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
Yeah.
He did the thing where he called me out for being on my phone.
You gotta talk into the mic, bro.
Oh.
You're leaning
Da-
all the way away when you're saying that.
Dawson did the thing where he called me out for being on my phone, even though
Do you notice how out of it when we were discussing really important stuff here on the show? You know, the audience was into it, and he's just like, "Oh, this is boring." But now that we're just
Me?
casually talking, no, Dawson.
Dawson.
Oh,
Now that we're just casually talking about this stuff, he's back into it.
Yeah, you know why.
I thought this was the issue that got you interested, though.
Israel? Well,
Yeah.
I've already figured out that I'm not really changing any minds here, so I'm not putting any energy towards
But
it.
wait, hold on. What do you got to change my mind on?
I'm much more of a hawk on this stance where it's like I would prefer to
You got to take off.
not
soon.
have a ceasefire and that kind of thing, which just is not the common take.
Napkin
Which is
Nader
fine.
has a. We
Okay.
have a Rumble rant from Napkinator, $10 says, cheers to the opposition writing about the show.
There you go.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well,
Yeah.
by the way, J. Patrick Coolican, you can come on the show. Let's have a discussion. They never do. But we'd love to have any left-winger, Rhino establishment person. We're not afraid to talk to anyone. Come on the show. We'll bring you in. Or Zoom in, whatever you want to do. So there you go.
Real Nunya Business on YouTube says, nice job, guys. I'm sharing this all over.
sweet.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's end on that.
Dave's right, really quick, says, I'd love to talk. 911. 911.
We went down that road.
So,
Please like this on Rumble or YouTube or Facebook, whatever you're doing. Share it around. Let people see it. It's the best way to grow. If you like what you hear here, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to understand the truth, right? And sometimes the truth hurts.
So true.
But what you're not going to get here is the canned talking points that the corporate media gives you. All right? We got lots to talk about. We'll be back on Thursday. So Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock, live here in Roseville, Minnesota. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Andy Parrish had that.